today what others don't so you can have tomorrow what others won't. There's only three really great questions in life. Who am I? Why am I here? And what do I do about it? Right? If you can answer those three questions, you've got purpose, you've got passion, and you've got commitment. And you've got to believe in yourself. I mean, you've got to #believe, baby. You got to believe in yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scoggins in the house. Why don't you give it just a super quick intro for what you're all about? Because I'm a fan of your work, recently discovered you, and want to introduce you to my audience.
Oh, thanks, man. I guess you would call it life mastery stuff. I guess the struggle point came through being homeless and went on to create 6 different businesses. Several of them, large revenue generating things, employ about 400 plus people. And I thought it was about time to give back. I kind of figured out there's 3 great purposes in life: serving the person you used to be, which I know you say in a different way, but it's like one of the greatest purposes that you're ever going to have. Yeah. And then obviously serving the person you once loved, and serving the person you wish you could have saved. So you think about Susan B. Komen and all these different organizations, stuff like that. I find that all of our passions kind of come out of one of those places. So I figured it was time to hopefully add value to the world. And a big believer in the brand new book, man. My team loves it, by the way. It is incredible. Dude, you did a fantastic job with that book. So well done.
Cool, man. Thank you. Well, so for those watching live, you can ask us some questions. And for those watching the replay on the YouTube channel, welcome. You get to meet Steven Scoggins in the house. You've got your own YouTube channel too now.
We did.
It's getting there. It's growing. I'm pumped to see the content you're putting up there. Cool. All right. So pop some questions down below. See what we can do. John is writing in to say, how do you dedicate more time to your business without taking time away from your family?
Be intentional. Yeah. So for me, one of the ways that I do that is I try to have a specific takeaway. So there's one day a week that is completely earmarked. I put the phone away, put the computer away, and pretty much focus on time with the family. Nothing's more powerful than spending time with your family, because at the end of the day, if your business happens to struggle or whatever, they're going to be the support system that's going to carry you through. So that's one of the ways in which I do it. The other thing that I think I do differently than a lot of entrepreneurs is I segregate it within my calendar. So I take the time to be intentional about planning that time out. My wife struggled with it at first because she was like, what do you mean you got to plan time with me? I'm like, well, I want to be intentional. So I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be getting phone calls and emails and all these dings, and I think that was one of the biggest things that I did. So Saturdays and Sundays are her time, the family's time. It's when we go do the fun stuff. And, we try to do that. We're getting ready to build a new house. So we just got to doing the design center selections and stuff like that. And I also make it a point to every quarter have 1 week. I take 1 week every quarter from me specifically where I go and dedicate that time to my family, to my friends. That allows us to do that. Nina and whatnot knows that we were in the mountains last week and I barely responded to any emails or anything. I got in trouble when I did, but we spent half a day building Lego sets, which was fun for us.
So to that point, it's crazy how people create a calendar only for their business ambitions and their business meetings, and then that tends to champ all over all the personal stuff. So I love that they've put like gates or walls around personal time as well to say, no, you cannot interrupt me unless like everything is burning down or Oprah's calling or something.
Well, and the only person that chirped in was Connor, who your team's getting to know a little bit. And then he got my wife actually texted him and said, Connor, it's my time. So it's pretty funny.
I love it. Okay. How to know when to quit?
That was a hard one for me. I don't know how to quit, to be honest. It depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking life or are you talking business? So in life, there really is nothing better than having a persevering spirit, right? There's nothing better than being willing to pick yourself back up after a delay. If I'd have listened to my limiting beliefs and stayed in that place when I was homeless, then there was no way that I'd ever get to the place now where hopefully I can encourage people how to break free, even though their circumstances may not be quite as dire. Some have been. There's a greater mission and a greater story when you're actually taking the time to dig deep and keep going. I've learned that sometimes you don't need to feel like you have to win every day as much as you need to just take the time to win the hour or the minute, right? Sometimes, when I was overcoming depression, one of the things that I struggled with specifically was the anxiety that came with it. So sometimes I would just kind of be rewarded with the fact that I got out of bed. I kind of cleaned myself up like I would normally go to a job or something like that and said, okay, that's a win. So it depends on where you're at, where you're coming from. When it comes to business, a lot of business ventures will fail early on because you're learning the process. And one of the ways you can kind of prevent that is to spend more time being apprenticed, if you will, by someone who's already in that industry or something like that to kind of prevent that. I find that one of the greatest things to do when it comes to looking at a business perspective, when it's time to quit or when it's time to pivot, I would actually refer to pivot, is are you actually able to carry on that endeavor, at cost or for free for a long time if you need to while you're getting your infrastructure in place. Not every business that I've had has been successful. I'll just be honest with you. I think I've had probably 12 businesses total, and I've only got 6 that have been, really successful. So
that's a good hit ratio, though. That's a good hit ratio.
Yeah, it's 50%. So, but you got to keep up with that. You got to have faith. You got to dig deep. You can't have a quit mentality. You got to see yourself as a warrior. One of the things that I took away, even in your book, Evan, recently, was the quitting. If you quit now, there's no future for you or the people in the lives you're supposed to touch. You got to have that moment where you just keep digging and keep going to kind of make sure that kind of takes place. And, whether it's life or whether it's business, do you believe in where you're going? That's one of the things I love most about your book is the word believe, right? Mm-hmm. Do you believe it? And if you don't believe it, can you find a couple friends that believe in it for you while you're getting good at believing in yourself? My very first mentor, Steve Byrick, one of the things I loved about him is he gave me this quote, this big, my linchpin quote. And he said, Stephen, you have to be willing to do today what others won't so you can have tomorrow what others don't. Right? Like you got to be willing to do today what others don't so you can have tomorrow what others won't. For those of you, if you were going to go super far, if you were going to grind at a super deep level, you are going to have to know that there is a season where you're kind of hidden in the cleft of a rock. There's a season when you're unknown. No one knows who you are. No one knows what you're doing. And that hard work that's hidden becomes the success that becomes visible to others when you put in the work. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I like it. All I would add is I think you quit when you don't love it anymore.
Yeah.
I think actually a lot of entrepreneurs stay in businesses or stay in relationships longer than they should.
Yeah.
Because they actually lost their love for it 3 years ago, but they're only sticking with it out of duty or dedication or, what would people say if I left this business? And then they can't go off and do something amazing. But if you still love it and you quit, you're going to regret it. You're going to be 95 and looking back and say, oh, what if I just gave it one more week or one more month, right?
Absolutely.
That's the acid test I would use. Owen saying, how to not overthink mistakes.
Well, my 2 cents in mistakes are what leads you to success, right? So I'm a high school dropout. I never graduated college. I never went to college, never graduated high school. And my mistakes are what have taught me to become successful over time, right? A lot of people think that, I kind of gave this analogy to one of my sons recently, that you're building a foundation with a brick wall where all the lines are super straight and all the bricks are super nice and like tight and whatnot. I kind of look at it more like stacked stone, right? You're going to have certain stones that are thin, certain stones that are thick, certain stones that are oblong shaped and stuff like that, which represent the messiness, if you will, of how to become successful. So I think one of the things that you need to do is be okay with quote unquote failing, which I don't believe in. I believe it's learning. So either you learn or you win. Right. So I think that's my personal take on overthinking mistakes. If you dwell on your mistakes, you won't be able to basically strategize how to move forward.
Yeah. And looking at your content too, one of the things that I pulled out is that you just don't get caught up in overthinking anything.
Yeah.
Just go, and you don't spend time looking backwards. Yeah. I think we see that across all the successful people that I profiled too. Is like, you just don't spend that much time looking backwards.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I doing right now? And where are we going?
That's right.
Like, it didn't work. Great. Next.
You'll crash your car if you're looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. I love it. How to push through depression and start becoming more persistent towards your goals.
Well, I can only tell you from experience what worked for me. There was a moment when I was right after I went from being homeless, in a room in my brother's mobile home that we had. And while I was in that mobile home, I had to get really clear on what it is I thought I wanted to do or what I thought it is I needed to become. So one of the most pivotal moments for me was just having a notepad and a pen and laying out what would be the perfect life if I could actually create it. Not knowing if I could or not, right? But actually taking the time to kind of just dream. Like what would it be like to do a specific thing or be with a specific person or have a specific thing or be in a passionate career or something like that I loved. That was my greatest tool that I used. And then what I did was I took that same list of the life that I wanted knowing that I didn't have it at the time, knowing I didn't have the skill set, I didn't have the teaching, I didn't have the mentorship, I didn't have the education, and I decided to put it up on my mirror. So every single day when I woke up, I had to look at that list, and I had to ask myself, did I take a step today that was going to lead me towards that level? Right? Did I actually take a step? Did I pick up the phone? Did I go and try to find a mentor? Did I read a new book? Right? There's a term, readers or leaders, I think everybody's at least heard of once, right? Books are powerful, right? Those are mentors in print, right? Those are mentors from a historical nature that have already been there, done that, right? Did I take some time that day? And what I did was I let my life build on each individual win, step by step by step by step. And then what happens is you don't really realize you're coming out of the depression state, or you don't really realize you're coming out of anxiety or fear. It happens because you're taking a daily step. 365 days in a year, if you take a step every day, you're already going to be a lot further along than if you've never taken a step to begin with. So why not just take one step?
So how did you get over that? You're sitting there, you were homeless, you're in your brother's mobile home, you write these things on a mirror. How do you get over I can't do that? Like, that goes, me? There's no way I can do it. Like, I think that's where a lot of people will have one day where they think, I can do all these amazing things, and they get motivated and inspired. I'm going to go change my life and be a millionaire, or whatever. Yeah. But then they wake up the next day, it's like, I can't do that. Especially someone who's depressed. Like, how did you get out of that?
Well, for me, I focused on the tactic. Like, I focused on the step. I didn't focus on whether or not I believed I could do it or not. I didn't focus on my limiting beliefs at all. Because, to be honest, I was completely unsure. But I knew if I didn't at least try, if I didn't at least take a step, then I knew I was never going to get there. So I set my goals pretty high. I raised my standard, if you will. I decided that I was going to, get up every morning and, at 5 or 6 a.m. and do some workout just to kind of get my blood flowing, right? I just changed my behaviors based on the life that I wanted, and it happened slowly. Literally a year later, you don't even realize you're coming out of depression until you can literally look back a year later and see it's happened. Right? If you focus too much on, hey, I feel depressed, I feel like I don't want to play a role in the world. If I feel like, there were certain days I didn't want to get out of bed, like straight up didn't want to get out of bed. Curtains are drawn, dark rooms. I don't know how long that process was, but I can tell you that when I stayed there, I knew nothing was going to change. Absolutely knew nothing was going to change. Right? So if you focus on taking it just to take a step, and whatever that step is for you, if you've been killing it for a long time and you've been kind of been an achiever, so to speak, maybe you're going to challenge your perspective on what really matters. Maybe you're going to take the time to challenge, the perspective that you're using to obtain a new skill. Maybe you're going to partner with new people. I've learned a lot by watching a lot of your content recently, Evan, and that's empowered me and encouraged me to kind of dream even bigger than what we've been dreaming as a team here. Mm-hmm. I think you dream big and you take one step a day, and lo and behold, you'll look back like nobody's business, and you'll see that you've actually come incredibly far. And when you're at that place, right, once you've become someone new, now you can go back and serve the person you used to be. So maybe you focus on serving the person you used to be rather than just trying to become something different, right? Maybe there's a greater purpose. There's something better and bigger to go after.
Yeah, I think surrounding yourself with people who have come out of it, even just as, like, I've never been depressed. I've had anxiety, I've had problems, but I've never been, would never say I was depressed. So I may not be a good role model for you, but Steven has, and he was homeless and lived out of his brother's, mobile home, and now has 400 employees, right? And so if I'm you, I subscribe to Steven's YouTube channel. Like, this video is is it every day? Are you daily now on your channel?
Yeah, so we're posting a video every single day. 5 days a week, not every single day. So we take 2 days off because we have to edit. So.
Right. So, but in looking at that, it's like, hey, here's someone who's exactly like me, who's come out on the other side, and I want a mindset like him. Like, how did you make that shift? And there's always, you have so many videos and so many stories that you're sharing. Like, if that was me, if I've been homeless or I'm depressed right now, I find guys like you, and I'm consuming their content every day to say, like, it's possible. If you could do it, maybe I can do. And just that seed of hope can be the thing that keeps you going. Did you have something like that you looked at and said, this is what I want to become?
We didn't have the internet when I first started digging out, but what I did have was I did have Steve Meyer, and I did have Susan Batts, who the world will probably never know about, with exception of when I'm on a stage somewhere, I can talk about the impact that they made to me. right? Susan Bass talked me off from taking my life, and Steve Myrick taught me business skills, and he taught me relational skills. He taught me to dream bigger than my circumstances, because had I followed my circumstances, I would have probably stayed in the same place in the same state, right? I forgot who actually originated the quote, but show me your 5 friends, I'll show you your future, right? You got to choose those relationships well. We talked about on one of the videos we had something called the mentorship matrix, right? There's 4 areas that right now in this day and age that you can actually get mentorship, right? There's the one-to-one relationship like I had with Steve. There's the historical, which comes out of books and stuff like that. There's the digital side that comes out of like videos and podcasts and things of that nature, right? All right. And then there's what's called a co-star. There's somebody that comes alongside of you that's kind of in the same place. Maybe they're a little ahead, but like a ping pong partner, like you can bounce ideas off of, right? Well, maybe this is the right direction. Maybe this is the right direction. Then there's a conversation. That conversation breeds new thought, which breeds new action, which breeds new results.
I love it. And I think there's also the evolving, I don't know if you consider this a digital mentor, but for people, like if you go live on Instagram and people can ask you questions and you can bring them in like this, they may not ever have that opportunity to come and see you and talk to you and you're a busy guy, but they can spend 5 minutes, 7 minutes with you on Instagram live. And actually, it's not just a digital, like I'm learning from afar, but like, hey, I got one question I can ask it to Steven, here it is. That opportunity never existed before. So
no, it hasn't.
Your heroes are going live. Go try to connect with them.
Yeah, and through some of your mentorship, that's actually something we'll be looking to do here in the near future. So
I think you would crush it, dude. You would crush it. Like a daily Instagram live. I mean, I do it 2:00 every day. I think it'd be great.
Well, thanks, man. Well, I got Christian over here in the corner with me from our graphic design team, so she's ready to kind of make sure we get that in place as soon as possible.
All right, Christian, let's go. Like at the beginning, what I would do, this is what I did too. At the beginning, I scheduled all of my people who are coming on because I was just building into my audience. And so like, look at how many people already follow you and say, hey, I'm doing a new daily show, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 25, I go 25 minutes, but I booked my first 5 guests. Say, would you like to have a free 25-minute one-on-one with me on my Instagram Live?
Yeah.
Right? Like from all your followers, for anybody watching too, you don't need to have 1,000. Like, you have 100 followers, you'll get 5 people who will say yes. Right? And then, you start building it up and training them that, hey, 2:00 Eastern every day, I'm going live. And then people will want to join. Like we're doing text questions now, but people are putting up their hands like, hey, can I come in live next? Right? And that would be you. Cool. And you being able to see their eyes light up to say, like, you've helped them, right? The person you used to be, you're helping them and serving them is tremendous value, but also great content for Instagram, but also cutting up for your YouTube channel.
Well, and you also get a sense of who they are and what their needs are, right? So, I mean, our heart is to be sincere. There's a lot of people in the space that you're trying to cut through the noise and you're trying to do things well and you're trying to do things right. We have a sincere heart. I would do this for free. Like, I don't have any, like, this is... Steve Myrick taught me the power of creating a legacy by helping someone just understand more about themselves, understand more about where they want to go, and understand more about how to get there. Right? If you think about it, there's only 3 really great questions in life. Who am I? Why am I here? And what do I do about it? Right? If you can answer those 3 questions, you've got purpose, you've got passion, and you've got commitment. And then it's just about not giving up.
I love it. Guys, you got to go watch him on YouTube. There's tons of value there. Okay, next question popping up here. How do you stop yourself from telling your loved ones all the ideas as they come? That's interesting.
So I may not be the best one for answering this question, but I'll give it a go. I'm an idea machine. Yeah. So I love producing content. I love doing great things. There are a couple different things that I do. I share a lot of concepts with my team first, my wife second. I know that sounds crazy, but my wife is designed to keep me grounded. Right. So there's certain things that she'll challenge me on a little bit and say, hey, maybe it's not that it's too big, but maybe it needs to be looked at again. And then I actually use this pesky device that we're on today called an iPhone. And I actually have to keep an idea folder note. So when I'm at the gym, I'm typically doing a lot of mobility stuff and whatnot, and my brain's firing. Right. So I wrote an entire not a script per se, but some of the concepts that I want to share in our upcoming video taping on Thursday. Right. And I try to use that as my idea folder. So, but I have an idea about every 10 seconds. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. I did a Strengths Finder years ago, and Strengths Finder basically said, if you were anything other than be an entrepreneur, you'd have big problems. Right.